Hi everyone, Chris V here. Hope you guys are having a great Thursday. Now today we're going to be talking about a subject that is actually really important to me, and this is on mental health. Now I know a lot of people right now are going through a lot of things that is very unprecedented, right? A lot of struggle right now out there with the COVID-19, all these closures of businesses, people losing money, people losing their jobs. It's a very stressful time. And so I believe that right now is such an important time for us to talk about mental health, specifically depression. Now, the reason why I'm so adamant about depression and why I really want to talk about the subject is because it's something that I actually struggle with myself. I've actually struggled with depression ever since I was 15 years old. It's something that I've learned to kind of manage, not necessarily overcome, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. Now, I want to give a disclaimer that everything that I'm sharing here is based on my experience. I am not a professional. I am not a doctor or anything like that, but this is my experience, and these are some things that have helped me out. Now, I know a lot of these individuals that are going through depression right now are probably either one, not used to it, this is kind of a new low for them, or it's something that they felt before, but it's coming back and they're not quite sure to how to manage and get through it. Now, I would like to say that depression is not the same for everyone. Everybody goes through it a little bit differently. Everybody gets triggered a little differently. And also, it's not always just about the situation. Sometimes it's something that's going on biologically that is keeping us in this mood, right? Or in this frame of thinking, right? So it's not necessarily always just about, not thinking more positively or not being motivated enough or not just overcoming it. Right? As business owners and as entrepreneurs, as people who are very success driven and goal oriented and providing for other people, getting hit with depression in the middle of our business can be very devastating because on one hand, we want to get this business going, we want to problem solve and make it better. On the other hand, we feel like we need to take a moment to pull back and to rest and to rejuvenate ourselves because every day feels like a drag, right? That we're not making any headway, but we also feel like we have to be there. So I really want to talk about how you can potentially manage your depression from whether it's a mild kind of depression going into a more major depression. Now, depression is characterized as a group of conditions associated with the elevation or lowering of a person's mood, such as depression or bipolar disorder. Now, there's a lot of variations of depression. Today, I really want to talk about major depression. Now, major depression, which is also called clinical depression, is characterized as a mental health disorder characterized by persistently depressed mood or loss of interest in activities, causing significant impairment in daily life. Possible causes include a combination of biological, psychological, and social sources of distress. Increasingly, research suggests these factors may cause changes in brain function, including altered activity of certain neural circuits in the brain. Now, I'd like to point out in this definition, it talks about psychological and social and biological sources of distress. So it can come from different areas. Now, I want to talk about how do I get through this depression? How do I manage it? Well, the first step I like to tell you guys to do is make sure you take yourself away from all the stress for a moment and just breathe. I know it sounds like such an easy thing to do, but you'll be surprised how many people just stop breathing when they're in a tense environment. An example that people tend to see is when people are going to get a shot. They're very scared to get the shot. They don't want to get it. And so what they end up doing that they don't even know that they're doing is that they stop breathing. And when you stop breathing, oxygen is no longer flowing through you. It's not getting to your brain. And so what ends up happening, there's more stress that's going on in your body. Some people faint, right? Some people have anxiety. Things like that start happening. And kind of integrate this into your daily routine. Something to think about is how much exercise are you actually getting through this difficult time? I know it sounds crazy to go to the gym in the midst of, I'm Chris, I'm surrounded by bills and things and obligations I have to do. I don't have time for gym. Now, keep in mind that your mental state, honestly, is more important than everything going on. I know that sounds crazy, but right now, just hear me out. And when you're mentally incapacitated, you are not performing at 100%. And so if you're not performing at 100% or not performing at your best, you're probably causing more harm than you are good. Now, there's a person that I really look up to and that I've been following. His name is Tony Robbins. I know many of you guys have heard of him, but if you've been listening to some of the things that he says, he does talk about a lot about how your mental state is affected by your physical state. And he spends a lot of time on this. A lot of his convention is about getting into that state of mind so that you can overcome almost anything. Right? In Tony Robbins' word, probably anything. So Tony Robbins is really sold on this idea that your physical state affects your emotional state. And I believe in it 100%. And you can actually see this in everybody's daily walk, right? If you see somebody that is not, that their shoulders are down, their eyes are down, their head is down, most likely that person is not having a great day, right? But if you see somebody where their shoulders are raised, their chest is up, they're looking to the sky, big smile on their face, right? They're giving off these physical signals on what exactly is going on the inside. So it works both ways. So if you are in that state of mind that you're just so depressed, then put yourself in a physical state that is counter to that feeling, which is in a much brighter stance, in doing exercises, which pushes you up to another level, right? Even though you might be feeling a different way. Okay, so keep that in mind. Definitely go ahead and start exercising and including that into your daily routine. Now, outside of doing exercise, the other thing I want you to think about is to get off of social media. I'm telling you, social media has some great points to it, and I enjoy it as well. But when it comes to depression, it is probably the worst thing you can do. And the reason I'm saying this is for multiple reasons. One, when you go on there and many people are ranting about the issues that they're having, is you're ranting out to a world that isn't really connected to understand fully what you're going through. So the responses may not be exactly what you need at that time. They might be egging you on, they might just support your misery, but they're just responding, right? They're not really there trying to help. And the other reason why I say don't go on social media is many people on social media are putting their best foot forward, okay? They're not showing you the pain that they're going through. They're not going to share their struggle sometimes. They're just going to show their best picture, their best trip, their best, saying or whichever like that. They're going to show you their best. And when you are in a depressive state and you're seeing everybody with, they're going on vacation, life seems to be happening for them, you're going to be even more depressed, right? Because you're like, oh my gosh, like everybody is having such a good time. They're loving life. And here I am with all these bills, a business that's failing. I can't talk to my wife. I can't talk to my husband. My kids think I'm a loser. Like all these things are going to start bubbling up to the surface because you're comparing yourself to what is happening on social media when it really isn't a good reflection of truly what's going on in people's lives, right? So definitely get off of social media and take some time for yourself, right? Now, outside of reflecting towards yourself and really kind of analyzing kind of what's going on, the other thing I want you to do is to reach out to somebody, talk to somebody, but don't talk to everyone. And the reason why I say this is that not everyone understands exactly what you're going through. So not everyone knows how to respond. And this is a time where we start feeling let down by other individuals because they're not responding the way that we expect them to respond. And the reason I'm saying also to not just talk to everyone is not everybody knows exactly what to say, right? Because they haven't gone through it, they don't know how to respond. Right? And so you're going to be let down. I know as business owners, as people who are success driven, goal oriented, you do not like to show your weakness. You don't like to show anything that may show that, you're vulnerable and show your weak spot, right? So I know it takes a lot of effort just to even say, help, I need help, I'm weak. But when you finally make that decision and that other person lets you down, that's going to give you even more of a reason to never open up again. And I know a lot of people are like this way in this mode of negativity because they've been let down in moments where they thought they can trust someone. Now, I'm reminded by a band that I just grew up with that I absolutely admired. And the band was called Linkin Park. I know a lot of people know who that is. And unfortunately, a few years ago, they lost their lead singer, their lead band member, Chester. And they actually lost him to suicide. And the thing about Linkin Park is that it was a band during that time that really kind of helped me through a lot of stuff. And honestly, I'm not very starstruck with celebrities or bands or anything like that. It's just not my thing. But there was a connection that I felt like I had with that band. And when they lost their lead singer, Chester, I actually cried. I actually was really impacted about his death. But when the DJs started playing their music, they were kind of doing a marathon with their music, there was a moment in the break of the program that the DJ said something that resonated with me so much. And he said, "Thank you, Chester, for just sitting with us." And honestly, that really put everything that Linkin Park was for me in those few short words of sitting with us. And that brings me to my next point. I'm going to flip the script here. For those that have been given the opportunity to hear from somebody that is depressed, I want you to keep this in mind. It is not your job and your responsibility right now for you to fix the problem. Right now, it's your job and your responsibility to listen, to just hear people out. Because if you go into this mode of now trying to fix the problem and telling people, stop thinking like that, you need to be this, you need to be that, what you're basically telling them is that we don't like the way that you are right now, and it's not going to be until you are this person that we will accept you. Because you're not hearing them in the midst of their stuff, in the midst of their pain, in the midst of their hurt, right? You need to be with them in the midst of that first to let them know that they're not alone, that it's okay to be here for a moment, right? It's okay to feel these things, and we can work through this together. We can manage this pain. We can manage this oppression. Really keep that in mind, to not go into fixed mode and to just listen to people. Now, if anywhere in this discussion that you have with the person that's going through depression and you start hearing the words of suicide, that I want to end it all, I need you to take this very seriously. And this is going back to also the individuals that are going through depression right now. If you are already having suicidal thoughts, you need to seek medical attention immediately. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel a little bit better, immediately. The fact that you have these thoughts in your mind means that things can spiral into something worse, right? Into you actually taking action on these negative thoughts. So for those that are going through depression, if you have these thoughts, please seek medical attention or go ahead and get checked into a rehab clinic. Nothing is worth losing your life. It doesn't matter. I don't care what the business is or the money that you owe people. It just doesn't matter. I've been down that road. Now, when you get checked in, hopefully there's a therapist that you'll connect with and that works for you. And most likely you're going to be prescribed different medications. Now, these medications, I want to point out, are not happy pills. They're not miracle pills. These antidepressants work very differently to each other. So I don't know what you'll be prescribed, but they're not happy pills that's going to switch instantly and that you're feeling great. Okay, it takes some time. Pills work off of different things that are going on in the body with serotonin and dopamine and things like that. And they work to help to balance it so that you can come to a state of mind where you can really kind of think about things a lot clearer. You don't feel as heavy weighted in your depression, and you might be able to pull yourself out of it. That's when you need to start talking to more people and really kind of getting into that mode and surrounding yourself by positivity to kind of keep yourself going. But the pills are not going to be taking care of everything. And I also want to point out, when you start taking these pills, there's a good chance that your depression actually might be getting worse. That actually might get worse once you start taking it. It's just something that happens with antidepressant pills. I can't personally talk about why it works that way. I'm sure you can talk to a doctor, but they do caution many times, once you start taking this thing, that doctors start monitoring you to make sure that you're doing okay with the medication, okay? Because things can get a little bit worse. Now, I want to end this by saying that it's okay to be going through this stuff. Okay, it's okay to feel down. We are humans. We go through this. The thing that isn't okay is for us deciding to tap out and say that we're done, right? You've been given a great opportunity to share your light into this world. I hope you don't feel like you're any less than anybody else. During this difficult time, we really need to reach out to our brothers and sisters and seek the help that we need. But if you are that person that's being sought after for some help, please have some empathy to what people are going through right now. It is a very difficult time for a lot of people. There's going to be some links down below that you can check out. There are some resources that have helped me, and I hope it helps you. There's also some hotlines that you can call if you feel like you're reaching a certain point, you really need to talk to someone. Honestly, you should talk to someone anyways, regardless of which state that you are. And you can even message me if you like. Comment down below. I'll reply where I can. I will let you know I'm not a perfect individual and I will let people down, but I'll do my very best. That's at least my intention, right? Towards you guys is to love you and care for you the best that I can, in the midst of everything that's going on. So if you found this video to be helpful and valuable, please like and subscribe to my page. My page is all about trying to get people to be a better version of themselves, one day, one step at a time. All right. Thank you guys so much for this opportunity to speak to you guys. Love you guys. God bless. Bye.